Hello, folks. This is it. The tribulation begins here shortly, and I wanted to do this recording this update and cover some of these scriptures again. This is being recorded on March 15th, the Sabbath, Saturday, 2014, and we suspect that next week Jerusalem may be trodden underfoot, and the beast government may begin. We get this from Revelation. Revelation 11, 1 through 3 says that, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is outside the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. So the holy city Jerusalem is going to be trodden underfoot 42 months. And in my prior videos, we'll state at the end of this too that we believe the trumpets will be fulfilled in 2017, September 22nd, 2017. And I'll cover those points at the end of this. So if you count back the 42 months, it should start, if it's based on our months here and not 30-day moon months, it should start March 22nd. That's next weekend, next Saturday. So we're expecting that next Saturday you're going to see the war break out real hot and heavy between the enemies around Jerusalem there and Israel. And it looks like it's about on time. They just attacked Syria, and Gaza's getting into it, and they just had a rocket salvo in the last few days. So it looks like it's ramping right up. The 2 witnesses are supposed to prophesy 1,260 days. And there's a few other these day prophecies which you really need to focus on to figure out how they fit in here. One is from Revelation 12:6, and it says, The woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. So the same amount of days, 1,260 days. And so that's his bride, which is supposed to flee out of Babylon, USA, and other parts of the world into the wilderness, into your place where you're going to last out these 3.5 years from the face of the beast. And it's also covered in Revelation 12:14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she was nourished for a time, times, and half a time from the face of the serpent. So that's 3.5 years. Most people calculate a time as a year, so a time times, that's 3.5 a time, 3.5 years. So down below I cover these times, and 1,260 days, counting back from Trumpets, September 22nd of 2017, takes you to April 11th, 2014. That's not very many days from here now. What's that, about 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away? And 3.5 years could be calculated 2 different ways. If you take the scriptural years of 360 days, it comes out to be the same thing, 1,260 days, exactly the same, which matches. And I guess that's what they're calculating that on, because it's written right together there in the same chapter. But if it's based on our days of 365 days a year, as we calculate them today, the calendar changed. Then it's 1,277.5 days. That's 3.5 years. But we're going to stick with the 1,260 days. That seems like a pretty simple calculation. You take September 22nd, 2017, you count back 1,260 days, takes you to April 11th, 2014. So that's when you need to be thinking about getting out, not thinking about. That's your last day to get out. Sounds like to me, if you're going to be out 1,260 days and you want to flee from the face of the beast. That takes us to the next verse here in Revelation 13:4 and 5, where it says, And they worshipped the dragon, and gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast, and who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power, or authority, was given unto him to continue 42 months. So the beast government that's going to take over the whole world, all nations are going to go underneath him, and he's going to persecute and tread down the saints, people keeping the commandments. He's going to rule for 42 months. Now, I suspect that rule will be put down at the return of Yahuwah and Yahushua, on Trumpets of 2017. So if you count back 42 months, you have takes you to March 22nd of 2014, just 1 week away. 1 week away. Now, there's two ways to calculate this as well. The first is based on our regular months, which would take you to September 22nd of 2017. You count back 42 months, and you get back to March 22nd. That's just 1 week away from today when I'm doing this recording, next Saturday. So there'd have to be some pretty big events next week for this all to happen. Next weekend. Or if it's moon months, as the scripture calculates them, they're 30-day months instead of ours. Ours are actually 30.5 days or 30.4 days in an average month. If it's months based on scripture, then it's exactly the same. These moon months, it's exactly the same as the 1260 days. It takes you to 411 also, 42 months based on 30-day months. So it's either going to be next weekend on the Sabbath that he's going to start, or it's going to be some 20 days after that on the 11th of April, 2014. If it is the 11th of April, you're not going to get any warning time then. The flight of the woman out is at the same time the beast gets power, and at the same time Jerusalem gets trodden underfoot, and the exact same time the two witnesses start. Everything happens all on the same day. If it's accurate that it's calculated based on our months right now, then you'll get a couple weeks warning. You'll get about 20 days warning, because next Saturday, next Sabbath, the beast government will start. I don't know if this is 10 nations and the Security Council. If you'll add 5 more nations to the UN Security Council, and there'll be 10 nations that rule. It sounds like Prince Charles might be heading this thing up. We'll see. But there'll be one guy, sounds like it's heading this thing up. And it's all would have to start on the 22nd, March 22nd. Now the Skull and Bones guys like that 322 date. So you should be getting your tickets now if you're going to plan to fly out of there, if you're part of his bride keeping his commandments, on Friday, April 11th. Now that's just 3 days before Passover, and hopefully if you're keeping his commandments or planning to start keeping his commandments, you'll want to keep a proper Passover, and I cover that in another video. And you kill a lamb like he tells you to. You have to kill a lamb and roast a lamb. And you don't do Seder meals. That's Jewish Talmud stuff. And don't do communion. That's Catholic. And you don't take breads and wafers like the Church of God boys or Christians do. All of that stuff is all Baal God, the Lord worship. It's nothing what he told you to do. You can listen to that video. So hopefully you're planning on keeping Passover out in the wilderness where you fly to, where you're going to get to. And hopefully you've got a spot that he's leading you to, like he has for us, where we have it's beautifully prepared by him. That doesn't mean that you're getting room service at some hotel. It means that you plan and grow your food and provide for yourself. But he gives you a nice place where, like in our case, we have spring water running fresh under pressure out above us, and it's really beautiful. I think that's what he means by he's prepared a place here in Southeast Asia, way away from where the nukes are going to be going off over there in America. Well, I got the timeline pulled up here. Your flight to the wilderness, if the beast in Jerusalem get trodden underfoot next Saturday, March 22nd, or if it's calculated based on 30-day months, it'll be on Friday the 11th, the same time that you should be flying out of there. That Friday the 11th, 1260 days. 3 days later is Passover, that's the 14th. And the next day, the first day of unleavened bread, the 15th of April, is the blood moon. Boy, that's really the sign, another big sign from Joel. And I cover that later in this recording too. So that's the timing coming up here. Boy, we're right up on it. It's only 7 days away, and you might start seeing this happen, or at most, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, something like that, 4 weeks till the 11th of April. There's a good video that covers all the geopolitical alignment seems to be in place here for this. There's a good video on Greg Hunter with Watchdog USA interviews Jim Willey. And that's a good one for you to go out and listen to. It was just done a week or two ago. It's in February 2014 here, or March. Maybe it was in March he did it. But he covers the points of what's going on geopolitically, and two of the big points from that video. It's really worth your time to watch it. He covers. I think it's called Americans Need to Stop Taking the Blue Pill. And most Americans are totally deceived. It's because they're not keeping any of these commandments, and the blinders haven't been taken off their eyes. But he covers 2 points. Russia is being pushed to a first strike against the USA or Ukraine. And then he goes on to surmise that America then would retaliate with a huge strike and take out Russia. No, they're being pushed into a first strike is right, but it's going to be taken out in one day. It shows in Scripture that Russia is going to join with Turkey, Iran, and Syria, and they're going to in one day totally destroy America. And the other point he covers, which is very interesting, is Turkey is NATO's weakest link, and he covers that, which is very good to listen to. So take a look at those. We'll